Greg Sheldon here, your host of Metal, Steel Manufacturing and Business Pro podcast, where you learn everything about the industrial businesses that make your modern day life possible. All right, everybody, Greg Sheldon here. Welcome to the Metal, Steel Manufacturing and Business Pro podcast. Today we have Odin Zavier, the one and only, that is probably the most persistent guy I've ever met when it comes to sales, marketing, and business. He is one of a kind. So, welcome, Odin. Thank you for coming on the show today. Appreciate it.
Right, Greg. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you're welcome. Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So let's just jump right in. I know a lot about you, but I don't. The guests don't, or not the listeners don't. So, if you could tell everybody about yourself, what do you do, and what kind of business are you in, and that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
So leave it to two easy questions for me so I can remember them. So what I've it's do you want to hear my more elaborate story, or do you want to hear my right to the point story? Which do you prefer?
Up to you, my friend.
Okay, all right. So let people can always get to know me through the presentations that I have online. I have lots of presentations. I think I have 12 different presentations that I do throughout the year. They're always different and better. And what I am is I'm a sales and marketing coach. I'm a senior sales and marketing coach, or a chief marketing officer, a fractional chief marketing officer for businesses that only need someone helping the marketing maybe once or twice or three times a week, not someone full time. And I started back, oh goodness, I started back in 2001 is when I started. And I actually went to a local college as self-employed, and I took their self-employment course. And I became a life cycles coach, is what my first business was. And I did that successfully until the college hired me as an employee. Awesome. I didn't have to go to university to become employed at a college. I just went to the college and I did really well in their program, and it was great.
Yeah.
And from there, I ended up wanting to learn more about money and how money works. I wanted to have millions of dollars flow through these hands, and so I got employed with one of the biggest banks in Canada. And that was a great experience. I ended up going from, I just wanted something casual to learn from the bank's perspective, and they ended up giving me a full-time position on a silver platter, and I ended up becoming the Best in BC award. I got their Best in BC award, actually, which is really cool. Yeah. And I was their number one refer at their front line, and ended up doing really well there. And then in 2007, I ended up leaving the bank and leaving my coaching business, and I ended up becoming a business coach. And so that's when I started working with a company called Leader Global Consulting. And I have a testimonial from Carl, so I have no problem saying that I was one of their top performers. Yeah, I still am.
You've got hundreds of testimonials. I've seen them.
I have. Yeah. People like me because I don't just tell them what to do. I actually show them, and then we'll do it together, and then we'll do it again and again and again, and then they get results, and they're like, "Whoa, this works!" And I'm like,
yeah,
if you follow I knew that at the beginning. If you follow the system, then I do this full time, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of, and I have a family. I've got I have a 17-year-old right now, which is great. It's going to date me a little bit. But I also have a 10-year-old, so my daughter, who's 17, and I have a 10-year-old, and I live in Vancouver, the Lower Mainland. I have the privilege of owning a home here. It's beautiful. Amazing. It's amazing. I live close to the beach. I live a dream lifestyle, and I say to myself on a daily basis, you are blessed to be living here. I certainly am. It's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, man. Well, that's great. I'm glad. I love the humbleness of you.
Was that humble? Oh, sorry.
You're living the dream, and it's just, you're so humble about it. I love it.
Oh, it's because I've had to work for it.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I sit here at this desk now for 12 years.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I'm an overnight success. Maybe in a couple more years I might be.
Yeah, we both will be now. We'll get there. So why did you get into coaching business? Like, you've got your story, but like, what is it about it that you really love?
The money.
Uh-huh.
Seriously, I went from life coaching which is totally a different concept in business. And I mean, I did pretty good. I doubled my business every single year, but I hit a plateau, and I noticed that a number of my people coming in were businesses. And I had a buddy of mine that introduced me to this company, and I went, and I had my own company at the time, of course, so I understood about marketing and sales, and I was having live presentations, and the reality is that it upped my game just to a whole new level. I mean, the banking was really good and life coaching was great, but the business coaching absolutely just brought me to a whole new level. I'm never going to be out of work. There's so much need for sales and marketing, and for what I do specifically, because what I'll do is I'll go into a business and I'll do a sales and marketing audit, and the audit is about 120 different questions.
Yeah.
And from there, I can come up with about between a minimum, we say if we can't find 10 different ways to grow your business, you don't have to pay for our session. And in all the time that I've been doing this, there's between 20 and 40 different areas that a business can grow in at any one time.
Mm-hmm.
And most businesses are only growing, about 9 or 10 different areas, if they're even doing that. So it upped my game. Becoming a business coach is just so much more enjoyable, and I didn't have to. The goal structuring is just so much superior when you're setting a SMART goal, because you can set a SMART goal for your business and yourself. I was doing predominantly for people and what they were going through in their life, but doing it for business is just a lot cleaner, because with the life coaching, it was really personal
Right.
emotional stuff. With the business coaching, that doesn't exist. It's just
Yeah.
so much cleaner.
Do you find it's easier to get goals set within a business than it is with personal?
Yeah,
Just because it's kind of removed from themselves?
yeah, I found that, but I mean, in the early days, I always thought that people understood goals, and I downplayed goals in my early days, only to, I mean, years and years later now, to realize that most people actually don't set goals. And that's the number one thing we always work on in our businesses, is what goals are we going to be setting and what are we going to work towards.
Mm-hmm.
And then time management we worked on, and I mean, we've got it was just awesome. I mean, I've got this paper right here that I look at, and we have 12 different areas that we go through. Time management, getting people out of their head, and actually putting their goals on paper and being able to time manage the stuff.
So when it comes to goals, Odin,
Yeah.
when you're speaking with, a business owner, what is it, the goals? Like, is it financial goals that they set, or is it typically like, this is, the vision I have, this is where I want to get to, it's more personal, or is it like, what is it? What's the typical scenario?
That's really good. In the early days, the goals was always just to complete the marketing plan. And typically I put together, after 120 questions, I put together about, it was typically about 40 to 50 pages of a document that we would follow. And the idea was to actually the goal was to accomplish every single thing on that marketing plan and see the business, of course, increase in profitability.
Of course.
But our program has become all digital now.
Yeah.
And I don't have to spend the 10 to 12 hours writing a marketing plan. If I want to, I can, because those are really personalized.
Sure.
But now what we do is we spend 2 to 3 hours online with a profit accelerating system. And this system, you actually know what this system is.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so now what we do is we go through the whole system. It's either a Jumpstart 12 or a Deep Dive 40. And what I'm talking about here, this is lingo, 12 different areas we're going to grow in your business. Yeah. Or 40 different areas we grow in your business.
Yeah, can you touch on what 12 areas that would be, Odin?
Yeah, sure. I can pull it up right here. I actually have it right now. Here we go. I was actually just working on this before we started our call. So the profit accelerating system, it starts off with financials, because we need a baseline. Mm-hmm. So we need to know what your financials are. And then what we do is we do valuation of your business. So it's like an internal valuation. And then what we do is we take a look at your market dominating position and look to see where your market dominating position is.
Yeah, so what's that? What is a market dominating position?
I take all this stuff for granted. So a market dominating position is essentially where you stand in the marketplace in comparison to your competitors. So it's a competitive analysis. So we take a look at all your competitors and as many different regions as possible. If we can spend more time on this, the better. And we look to see what they are doing, and we'll look to see what they're not doing, and then we'll look to see what you're doing differently.
Okay, why is that important?
It's important because most competitors in the marketplace don't have a market dominating position. That's the first thing you're going to see.
Okay.
So with a market dominating position, it really puts you kind of in the forefront when someone's making a purchase to choose you over a competitor.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the market dominating position is about the copy. It's about your guarantee, your unique selling proposition.
Right.
It's about your competitive advantage. You're talking to your target market.
Yeah.
It's knowing what headlines you're going to be moving forward with. It's the special offer. It's the unique. Yeah. It's your unique offer that you're giving to the client. Sure. It's what allows you to reduce the need for salespeople, and your salespeople then become more of an order taker, because your website should say everything that someone needs in order to make an intelligent purchasing decision.
So do you have any examples of what a market dominating position would be?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you care to share?
You're putting me on the spot here.
Well, that's my job.
Sure. Let's use this one here, because this one's actually working really, really well.
Well, even, ones that everybody would know of, right? Like, is there like?
Can you let me
get okay. Domino's Pizza, for example.
Oh, okay. You want me to give you those kinds of examples? That's a unique selling proposition. That's more of a USP. Like Domino's says, we'll get you your pizza in 30 minutes or it's free. That's a more of a unique selling proposition, and it's important to have one of those too.
Well, but I would also say, just to argue your point a little bit, it did help them dominate the market, right?
It gave them something unique in the marketplace. Yeah, it was a market dominating position, but when we break it down even further, we call it a USP, because it's a basic slogan, right?
Right.
But the market dominating position, it takes into consideration all of your clients' hot buttons.
Right.
It takes into consideration. So, I mean, if you let me share my screen, I can give you.
Well, yeah, but first, okay. First off, Odin, I'm sorry I interrupt a lot, because if I don't get my thoughts out, I'll forget. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, what are hot buttons?
Okay. Thank you for. A hot button is an emotional pain, fear, frustration, concern, worry, an aggravation, a problem that a person has. So a hot button is any of those kind of issues. It's an emotional issue that somebody has. And so we want a list of as many of those as possible, of what kind of pain problems. Mm-hmm. And then what we do is we talk to our market. We take what we think are the pain buttons or the hot buttons, and then we bring it to the marketplace through maybe we spend about a dollar or two. We get 500 people, and we look and we test and measure different headlines.
Okay, good.
And we look to see what people are drawn to and what people are not even touching. Right. And then what we do is we take our guess and then we apply it into the marketplace, and the market tells us what they want to see, and then we take that because we know it's working, and then we put it all over our digital marketing, like on our websites and on our social media pages and on our social media posts. We change our website. We have landing pages, for example. We change the landing page accordingly every single week based on our heat maps. And our heat map is where people are on the website. And by the way, these are for the company I'm talking about right now. The specific example, it's a service industry, but specifically equipment rentals. So it's essentially people in the marketplace. When we post an ad, there's no one really in the marketplace doing what we're doing, not to the extent we're doing with a guarantee that we have. We have, let's say, a 100% replacement guarantee. If it's not working right, we'll come and replace it for you.
Right.
Customer service, all these things to differentiate the marketplace. So when they phone someone else in regards to a market dominating position, they're going to realize, well, I'd be a fool not to deal with this particular company because I got all these benefits. We do waivers. I mean, we thought of all the things to kind of communicate.
So
And then go even further.
yeah.
For each hot button that you identify in your market dominating position, you build out a landing page. And a landing page is a website that specifically communicates that problem a person has and how you've overcome it for other people.
Okay.
It's the ideal scenario.
Okay.
And so if you have 3 or 4 or 5 different hot buttons that you're dealing with that you know of, and you've tested them all, but out of the 5, only 3 are being responded to, then you build out a campaign based on those 3.
Wow, that's really, really brilliant, man. That's awesome. So you can do that for anybody that comes to you, right?
I take it for granted that I know this stuff. Yeah.
So, something that came to mind because I've been through it myself is a guarantee. I know that, that scares the crap out of a lot of people. Do you have any, wisdom or experience around, talking to people about guarantees? Because the biggest concern is, okay, if I offer a guarantee, that means I'm going to have to, pay a whole bunch of money to this guy that comes back with whatever reason, right? So
Yeah.
is there a solution to that, or?
Yep. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of solutions to that, actually. So a guarantee doesn't have to be about money. A guarantee can be a satisfaction guarantee. So I've played around with all kinds of guarantees in our business. We've done no results, no fee guarantee. That's a really interesting one. We did very well with that, but there is a flip side to that no results, no fee guarantee, because everyone thinks that things don't happen fast enough when they pay up front, right?
Okay.
And so typically with sales and marketing, things take time. And so the no results, no fee guarantee is what are results? So results are working on your marketing plan, getting you a better marketing plan, working on your systems, giving you better systems, working on your operations, giving you better operations, working on your offers, working on your so it's results does not necessarily mean money. So it's very important to understand what no results, no fee means. It basically means if you're going to give me money, I'm going to do my work. Otherwise, if I don't do work, I'll give you all your money back. That's what that one particular means.
Okay.
So we played with that for a while. It worked okay.
Yep.
It was a great risk reversal. Then what we have a satisfaction guarantee.
What's a risk reversal?
Perfect. So a risk reversal is basically, so I'm sitting down with you and I'm telling you and sharing with you how much it's going to cost for me to give you a full-on marketing plan. After I've given you a full half day in the trenches, we're talking about prices and how much is it going to cost. And you say to yourself, I really don't know. It's kind of expensive. And what kind of guarantee do I have? And I say, well, we have a no results, no fee guarantee, which basically means that if we can't give you results based on this marketing plan, you get your money back.
Okay, so that reverses the risk for the buyer.
Because the buyer is then thinking to themselves, well, what risk do I have? I get my money back if you don't make this work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
There's all kinds of risk reversals, by the way. The satisfaction guarantee is the same thing, or try it for 30 days or send it back. All of these are different kinds of guarantees. And so you have to make sure, like we just came up with a 10-year guarantee for one of the companies I work with that it's called Crash Pad. It's Crash Pad Products. You go check it out. It's a really cool product, and they have a patent and everything, and it's for trucks, so they don't back up and hit their bumper when they're backing into things. It's really awesome.
That is cool.
So it's made out of steel. He's got a patent on it, as I mentioned just a moment ago, and he has a 10-year guarantee on it. If something happens, if it breaks in any way, to return it in 10 years and just send you another one.
Cool.
I mean, because that's within his framework, that he felt comfortable with that. For the other one, our guarantee is that we guarantee that this product will work, and if it doesn't work, we'll bring you another product and we'll make sure that one works. So the guarantee, most people have a guarantee of some sort. They may not actually be talking about it, and that's where the market dominating position comes in. The moment you start talking about this guarantee, you start differentiating, because our clients don't know how to really judge who's better or who's worse.
So do you suppose the communication end on things, those are things the salespeople need to learn to communicate as well. Is that part of the disconnect between the buyer and the seller?
Well, typically, if you want a good organization, what you're looking for is you're looking for your salespeople who are the order takers to be working with the marketing people, because the marketing people are overcoming the objections for the salespeople. So if the salespeople know what the marketing people are writing, and the salespeople take the time, effort, and energy to read the website and
Mhm.
know what's being said, then they don't ever have to sell anything themselves. They just say, hey, let me take you to the website. Are you there? Let me run you this particular section, 1, 2, 3, 4. And essentially all they're doing now is they're assistant buyers. They're helping the client. That's the ideal scenario for a salesperson.
Okay.
Otherwise, what you're doing is you're just putting too much responsibility on a salesperson without any of the marketing collateral that needs to go with it in
Right.
order for someone to buy after between 5 and 12 touches. And that's what numbers have shown, that typically takes between 5 and 12 interactions with someone
Okay.
before they become comfortable with purchasing from you. It could
Right.
be less depending of where they're at in what's called the buyer spectrum.
Okay.
And the buyer spectrum is from I don't even know your product exists to I need to buy this right now.
Okay.
And the right now people equate to about 1% of the population. So everyone's fighting for the buy now people.
Yeah.
Whereas what we need to be doing in and that's where the salespeople come in. Salespeople work with the buy now people. But
Right.
the 99% of the other people who are just finding out about a product, find out they have the problem. I want to have a solution. Who else has this problem? Where can I get a solution like this? Oh, I'm doing online research. Who can you recommend? Who
Yeah.
has testimonials? Oh, I'm ready to buy. That's what marketing does. Marketing creates a buyer's journey. So the
Okay.
salesman can have more people wanting to buy.
Right. Okay. So, okay, so website, that's key, right? In the
It's
process.
part of the market dominating position. Yeah. So when I'm taking a look at this, we look at market dominating position, we look at our compelling offers,
Mhm.
we look at increasing prices by adding more value, by the way.
Okay, that's
We
key.
look at
Yeah.
upselling and cross-selling.
Okay.
So do you have strategic alliances and joint ventures?
Sure.
We look at bundling, what can be bundled. We look at downselling, because let's face it, if a salesperson is on a phone with someone and they're not prepared to buy the top-notch product, there
Mhm.
has to be something that they are prepared to purchase because we're on the phone together.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's why most people don't phone on a website right away, because they don't want to be sold to. They want more information. So we
Okay.
have to, so our phone number, get a quote, all that kind of stuff is for now buyers. You have to have alternative marketing for people that are just wanting a little bit more information. So we talk about bundling, downselling,
Right.
talk about additional products and services. We talk about alliances and joint ventures,
Mhm.
drip campaigns, and a drip campaign is between that 5 and 12 different messages that we send out to people on a timed interval.
So
We
that's
talk about
by email, right? Yeah.
but it could be by email, it could be by SMS, it can be by telephone.
Okay.
A touch can be by telephone. It could be by direct mail. It could be by social media.
Mhm.
So how are you touching these individuals? But typically it's email.
Okay.
Typically it's
Okay.
email.
Okay.
Then what we have is leads, and then digital marketing, and that's the Jumpstart 12. The Jumpstart 40 goes through so much more. I mean, it's just mind-boggling how much more it goes through. But it's when I at the end of all of my sessions, when I'm talking with people, I say, "What is your greatest takeaway?" And every time it's the profit acceleration software. Every time.
Yeah.
I can work on a letter for them. Like I'll sit there and I'll type out the letter and do all that stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
what's the highlight of the day? Oh, the profit acceleration. What about the letter I wrote for you? It's like,
Yeah.
so the program really speaks for itself.
Well, that's good. That's super cool, man. That's a lot of information. Um, so can you speak to joint ventures? And, I don't know if it's a generational thing or if it's I feel as though from my own experience, I've seen competition. They're always weary of other competition, and it's almost like the culture is let's just hate each other. And, is there a way that people can get around that idea so that they can work with either their competition, or is it maybe it's not competition, maybe it's somebody that's, horizontally congruent or something like that. Like, can you help me understand what that process is like with the joint ventures to kind of help the listeners understand how that could be beneficial?
Yeah. So I learned about joint ventures back in the year 2005, I think it was. So a long time ago. And I came from, I was self-employed for a while, but I'd still come from that employee mentality. So joint ventures wasn't really a simple thing for me. Actually, it took my brain a ton of effort to understand what they were,
Mhm.
how they worked, and how they could benefit us. And so I think that first and foremost, what's important about a joint venture is two people need to get along.
Okay.
Personality, you have to get along. It's either you get and then after the two people get along, you have to have an idea. What do we want to joint venture on, right? So there's all kinds of joint ventures. I've been part of all kinds of joint ventures. I've been part the most successful joint ventures I've had, and the most turbulent ones have been in real estate. So I've had really good ones, and I've had others like, whoa, why did I do that?
Right.
So that's how come my experience is saying be really do your best to get someone that you get along with.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Red flags for me are someone who talks about going to court a lot,
Oh dear.
who
Yeah.
has been sued a lot.
Yeah.
Those are red flags for me. I don't like joint ventures with those kind of people.
No. Nobody
I'm
likes
looking,
court.
I'm looking for I'm if it's necessary, it's necessary. But I'm looking for people that we can have a really good understanding of what we want to accomplish together. Because I mean, I have one of my mentors, his name is Hugh. He goes, how many 10 years do you have left, Odin? How many 10 years do you have left? And I'm like, oh, not many, actually.
Yeah.
Right. So that's my first warning, is just try to pick someone in business that you can get along with.
Yeah.
I would say that you're looking for someone who has a database. Databases are really important. There's a reason why you do a joint venture is because of a database.
Okay.
That's the reason you do it.
You mean like a list of people or clients or whatever? Is that what you mean?
That's exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the idea of a joint venture is I have something that you want,
So
and
both
you have something
sides,
that I want.
both sides got to bring value,
Precisely.
and it's a marriage, basically. Is that it?
Based on that particular joint venture. So let's talk about a business joint venture specifically for marketing. Okay. This is a good one.
Sure.
Value pack coupons. That is a joint venture of a whole bunch of businesses that get together under the brand of Value Pack. And Value Pack takes all these people's money so they don't have to spend so much on their own to get it to a person's house. And then what they do is they just put everyone into a Value Pack. That's a joint venture, and it saves everyone a bunch of cash, and it gets their message out, and everyone at the house opens a Value Pack because there's actual value in it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's the classic example of a joint venture. Here's another one. Pepsi-Cola and 7-Eleven. Coca-Cola and 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Or McDonald's and Walmart.
Yes, precisely. You got it. So, and typically why McDonald's is at Walmart is because Walmart doesn't compete with fast food.
No.
Walmart and McDonald's is like, all these people are coming in. Maybe they need some fast food. They're just going to eat right away. Come on in, eat right away.
Yeah.
So it just increases the average price per client that's coming in through the door.
Yeah.
So I mean, and like a joint venture is, I think they're very, very worth it.
Yeah, and powerful. Like I think they can really increase your revenue.
They can help you achieve your goals quick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's kind of like a business acquiring another business. However, you're not going through all that financial turmoil, right? You're just becoming partners, and hopefully it all goes well.
Excellent analogy, because for people that are, because I actually work with Metal Merger, your company.
Yeah.
So that's you got my face there, which is even
I
more.
know. Well, it's a nice face.
No, thank
We got to put it on there, right?
the lady in front of the next door neighbor's house said the same thing this morning. I'm like, wow, thanks.
Hey, maybe she's hinting at something. No, so you mentioned a mentor. I really
Yes.
wanted to touch on that. It was one of my lower questions, but so why is it important for people to have a mentor? And what do you look for in a mentor? I mean, what's been your experience?
So my mentor owns numerous public companies, for one thing, and he's very, very successful.
Yeah.
He's an immigrant into Canada. He's
Mhm.
Asian. I have to tell you, it took me a while to really get attuned to his heavy Asian accent, but I understand everything he's saying now. And I really wanted to put the effort in because this guy was just one of my top investors. And then he ended up giving me an opportunity.
Mhm.
And I said yes to the opportunity. And the guy's really, he's not a know-it-all. He doesn't pretend to be a know-it-all, which is really refreshing.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's super refreshing from a very successful individual,
Mhm.
numerous public companies, just in what I mean, like human being has to deal with all the stresses and problems of dealing with other human beings in a high level position of an owner.
Yeah.
And he's got employees too. And I'm watching how he deals with employees and how he like, yeah, sometimes I've seen the guy flip out and everyone around is like, okay, we're just going to do our work better. I'm like, you can do that. No, but in all honestly, in all the time I've known the guy, he's been 100% accurate with every prediction in every meeting.
Yeah.
100% accurate with
Wow.
every prediction from every meeting.
Amazing.
And I'm like, wow, I mean, how do you do that? But the guy's got years on me and he's got tons of experience and he knows the difference between right and wrong in business.
Yeah.
And he's just a good human being.
So
And
integrity, I guess, would be.
yeah, I don't, he cares. I mean, I think a mentor has to care, or a coach has to care. And that's why, and again, I work for the guy as well. He's not just my mentor. He actually ended up, he's my client. I help coach his entire company.
Oh my gosh, man.
Gave me that
Good for you.
opportunity.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So, and they're training me now. It's really awesome, actually. They gave me the opportunity to go and learn how to read plans and then how to start quoting.
Oh my gosh.
And
What an opportunity.
I'm like, all right, bring it on, man.
Yeah,
And
man.
I mean, it's a little extra hours.
Well, yeah.
But the thing though is that it's going to help the company. It's going to help him. And that's the difference between myself and other coaches out there or other CMOs. Like,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this and you're a coach and CMO, I think that this is the attitude it takes to have success.
Yeah, man. I agree. Yeah, you have a great attitude. Like I said at the very beginning, very humble, and it is refreshing. So thank you for being you. I appreciate it.
I've certainly been kicked to the curb numerous times. And
Well, and that's what makes us the people we are, right?
have you ever heard of fucked up nights? I'm saying it just like that. You don't have to beep it out because
Well, I think I've been through a few, but
it's an actual thing. It's an actual event. And what they have is they have high-end professionals come on and they sit down and they talk about what part of their business completely got fucked up.
Oh, really?
Completely. Like,
that's awesome.
Major screw ups in business, because it happens. It truly, honestly happens. And people don't talk about this enough.
Well, that's the problem. There's more to be learned from mistakes than there is from success, right? I mean,
I've made lots of mistakes.
I've made so many as well, but that's okay because here we are today, two great characters, right?
And go check out I haven't gone to my first one. They've just come into British Columbia and the Lower Mainland here.
Okay.
And what the premise of those effed up nights is that you go there and you listen to really successful professionals. Typically, there's 3 of them, and they'll tell you about where they got screwed up, how it happened, and then what happened afterwards and how it turned around. And so it's actually a screw up story that is a turnaround story. So it's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Yeah.
So when you say that I'm humble, I've just been kicked to the curb lots of times. That's all. I've had many of those nights.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd like to have other people not make the mistakes. And
Yeah.
one of the best advice that I had, I was young and stupid, and it's only when you're older and not as dumb that you recognize the
Yeah.
advice you were given when you were younger.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't listen to some key advice. Money in my eyes, right?
Mm.
And on hindsight, that key advice, if I would have listened to that one little bit of advice, I could have pivoted to a different success story instead of a story that that I'm sharing right now. It was a
Yeah.
real huge wake up call, and I never knew. I was totally naive. And in business, you can be naive.
Of
I never
course.
thought that was possible
Yeah.
because you trust. I'm a trusting kind of person.
Yeah.
And I was naive, and I learned very valuable lessons. That's how come I love the mentor I have right now. He's and it's not just one mentor. I have numerous mentors.
Yeah. Yeah. Me
Numerous
as well.
mentors.
Very
Yeah.
fortunate. We both are. No,
Yeah.
those are the life lessons. I mean, I had, yeah, there's so many of them. And it's nice to think about, where would I have ended up if that happened or this happened, but it didn't. And I like to believe it happened for a reason. And there's a better path for you, because whatever didn't happen,
For me to warn people of what not to do. That's what.
well, there is, there's definitely, wisdom in that.
I've become a way better coach because of it, though.
Yeah, for sure, man. And people want to know you've been through the trenches, right? They want to know you've struggled, and because that's where the character comes from. That's where the wisdom comes from. So,
Oh my gosh, Greg, I can tell you, I remember when I made $300 a month.
yeah,
And when I first started off with this stuff, $300 a month. I mean, people don't realize, like, and everyone listening there, you've all been there. You've all had a little bits of money in your bank account. And now what I love doing is where I am now is people have plateaued. And so when I come in their plateau.
Yeah.
And what we do is we move them to that next level. And that's what's really exciting about what you're doing, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's, well, let me touch on that in a minute, but I was going to say, I find that people they get to a certain place and they're more comfortable or get used to protecting where they are than it is to continue being hungry like they were at the beginning, right? To continue growing and getting bigger and stronger and what more wise. That's just been what I've seen. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just a human nature thing. Your ego says protect what I have. So that's a challenge for me and everybody, is just getting through that. So, but also, yeah, touching on the podcast, like this, I'm not making any money from this, but that's okay, because it's about bringing value to the world, and I'm learning stuff from you right now. And if we're lucky enough to have somebody listen and
And you're building trust.
building trust, learning things as well, right? And that's what it's all about. That's how the world goes around, as I see it anyway. So
it's true.
Yeah. So I just hope somebody can take something away from this. But I do have another question about business. This is very high level, but when it comes to business owners, what have you seen, works really well, like in their temperament, their attitude? What works well and what doesn't work really well?
Okay. So in sales, we learn about personality styles. And so I use a personality style indicator that I learned from way back called the Platinum Rule. I think I forget the name of the guy's name. And so what I found is that there's 4 different personality styles, and there's always 4. That's just a theme. So there's what's called the director personality style. There's the relator personality style,
right?
Analytic personality style, and the socializer personality style.
Sure.
So I find that the business owners. Okay, so my brain is kind of going back and forth here because if you know about business and like if you want to get right down, business needs to be humanized, is what I feel, first and foremost. I find that the most successful business and business owners are the ones that are human beings, the ones that are relatable, and the ones that can kind of be coachable and are at the same time able to coach. I find that those are the best, because when I'm working, I have an example of this one person that I worked with in my mind when we started off 3 years ago. The guy was on a plateau, and we've taken him from that plateau and we 6x'd his business. Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's really
And-
awesome, actually.
Yeah.
He's in the process of selling his business now to one of his top competitors. It's like a dream come true. It's
Of
what we
course.
set out as a goal. And I think that that personality style is the best personality style, because he's an analytic guy,
Mhm.
and he's got relator. He's an analytic relator, and he's able to drive himself, and he's got a former military background.
Oh, geez, that always helps.
So I find that and I've had those kind of clients in the past as well. I find that that military training really just does something to their mind, where they're able to take an idea and they're able to actually see it through to the end.
Yeah.
That works really, really good. Focus is really important for business owners, but being coachable, not knowing it all, or admitting when you're overloaded, or admitting when you need help.
Mhm.
Right. Like, what's really great about my mentor is he's constantly asking me for help.
Yeah. So
I mean that in a good way, right?
no, for
I'd rather
sure.
be asked for help than not be asked for anything. And
Yeah.
what's really cool is that I can foresee what needs to be done, and I go and I'm proactive. I do that for my mentor, and I do that for all my clients too. It's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
So I think that when it comes to business owners, a detriment is not getting enough sleep, not being emotionally intelligent, or not taking emotionally intelligent courses.
Right.
I think that being too much of a director, too much of a barker of orders,
Yeah.
all these things, although they seem like desirable traits in an organization, have slowly been shown that what they do is they actually damage an organization instead of help it. I think that emotional intelligence is the thing that it really differentiates between successful business owners and ones that are struggling for success.
Mhm.
But I also believe that there has to be, in a business owner's approach, there has to be I will do whatever it takes. I will make the phone calls. I won't make the excuses to not make the phone calls, because
Yeah.
that exists for
That's you,
everyone.
man. That's you.
Everyone. I do my best. Like,
No, you are.
I do my best, man. But it's I have a whole bunch of cool stuff to show you what I'm doing, but that's on the side matter. But
Yeah.
I think that the ability to schedule your time, to stick with your time, to set goals, to achieve those goals, and to work on the business, not in the business, on the business, which means that you're setting up systems. You're planning for your retirement. You're planning to train the person that will take your position.
Mhm.
You're planning to train the person that used to do this, that you know how to do. For example, I really insist that all the people I work with become decent writers, because then you're going to identify what a decent writer is.
Well, yeah, for sure. And it's so that when you're buying something from if somebody's writing something for you, you know whether it's any good or not. Yeah, I don't want to take. We're getting to your time.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Probably get something booked.
Man, I talk a lot.
No, that's what I need. That's great. And we're gonna have to do this again because I got a million more questions.
As many times as you want. I got so many presentations I can help you out with. It's whatever you want. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Likewise. Look,
Any wrap-up questions you want to?
well, I got one more question.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I got a million more, but I'll end with this one. What book has had the most impact on you? Business related, I mean. Well, even not. You know what? Whatever.
Oh, man. I think what one book do I keep going back to again and again and again?
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar's Secret of Sale. That's one of my
Okay.
favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. But I have a couple other ones actually. The Brad Sugars series is actually really good.
Ah,
I
yeah.
really like Brad
I
Sugars.
know a guy that is all about him. Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Sugars is pretty decent. Dan Kennedy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I really like Dan Kennedy. I mean, I keep on picking up the No BS Marketing to the Affluent. I pick it up periodically. I've picked that thing up so many times. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's a good series.
It's a really good series. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many good books. So many good books. I mean, the Ultimate Sales Letter, the Ultimate Marketing Plan. I got some old classic books too. I'm just sorry that I got my head towards you. I'm looking at the library right here. And by the way, I've got it downstairs. I have another 3 of these, and then I have another 6, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 bookshelves all filled.
Jeez, man.
So there's no shortage of books in this house.
No, no shortage of knowledge either. Okay.
Yeah.
Any last parting advice from the Mr. Odin?
Yeah. Parting advice, parting wisdom.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately. If you're going to commit yourself to a marketing system, commit yourself to it until you understand it. If it takes a year or 2 years or 3 years, just commit to it. You never have to relearn marketing again for your business, and becomes one of those skills that you can literally go and transplant anywhere else. You become a way more valuable human being, way more valuable human being. So commit to one marketing system. And of course, I'm for the Profit Accelerator system. You're for it as well, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
It's proprietary. No one else has it. So it's really cool. If you haven't had a chance to sit down with Greg or Greg's family or dad or whoever to get a PAS system.
Or Odin.
Or thank you. I appreciate that. You got to get it done. And I do mine at no cost for now.
So where can we find Odin?
Yeah, you can check us out at the CanadianMarketingTeam.com.
Cool.
And you can just search up Odin Zavier, Zavier, on the internet. I think I'm the only one.
You are.
You can connect with me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and we connected on LinkedIn together.
Yeah, we did, man.
You reached out to me, and your message was awesome. Look what happened.
Hey, there you go. That's how it goes, man. That's what LinkedIn.
Just what you said was just perfect.
Cool. All right, man. Well, look, it's been a pleasure as always, and let's do it again.
Perfect.
And yeah, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right, man. Thank you for the information. Cheers.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.